Good morning, everybody. It's Miss Carrie. I'm at home missing all of you. Today I thought I would read you one of my favorite books, Curious George Plants a Tree. Have you guys planted trees with Miss Jenny yet at the school? George was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today was a good day to be curious. The man with the yellow hat was taking George to the Science Museum. The museum was one of George's favorite places. There were always something new to see and interesting to learn. How many of you have gone to the Science Museum? I know my children, when they were little, loved going to the Science Museum. Often there is a special exhibit. George wanted to know what it was today, but first he had to make his favorite museum stops: the Rocket Room, the Mirror Maze, and the Butterfly Space. And any of you that know Miss Melissa know the rocket would be her first stop. Finally, George and his friend made it to the special exhibit. The sign read, "How you can take care of your planet." George learned many things: how all people, animals, plants, air, and water on the planet make up the environment, and how trees help keep the air clean. George had a great time and didn't get into any of his usual mischief. As he and his friends were leaving, they bumped into the museum director. A museum director is a lot like me, who runs the school, but they run the museum. Dr. Lee looked happy to see him. "How is my best monkey visitor?" Dr. Lee asked George. "I'm so glad I ran into you. I wanted to tell you that we're having a Green Day rally tomorrow at the park." George was very curious. Whatever was a rally, he was sure that the park was a good place to do it. "We're going to plant a truckload of trees and collect used paper for recycling," Dr. Lee explained. "We didn't have much time to advertise, but we need lots of volunteers." We all know we do recycling in our classrooms, right? In the blue bucket. That night, George was ready to do his part for the recycling drive. He gathered every newspaper in the house. He stacked old mail on top of papers. He piled empty cardboard boxes and food cartons. What a heap! What more could he add? George scratched his head. Just as George was about to add them to his pile, someone lifted the books out of his hands. "Not so fast, George," the man said. "These books are made of paper, all right, but you can read and enjoy them many times. And when you're done, you can donate them to the other kids or your library." How many of you love visiting the library at our school? I know I do. The next morning, George and his friends set out for the park with their wagon of neatly stacked paper. "I forgot my gardening gloves." "Go on without me, George. I'll be there soon." Just like Miss Jenny's gardening gloves. As George walked down the street, he spotted several newspapers lying about on his neighbor's front stoops. George had an idea. He could recycle all the newspapers. And the newspapers are not the only things he could recycle. He noticed a stack of paper cups on the table, and into the wagon they went. So did the pile of magazines and a heap of paper someone left on the sidewalk. George was happy with his load. At the park, he found Dr. Lee standing under a big banner. "Good morning, George. I'm so glad you came and brought all your friends. We need lots of help." George turned around. He was surprised to see so many faces, but they did not look very helpful. How many of you help your families at home? I know my kids are helping me. The man with the yellow hat arrived just in time. He explained to their neighbors that George was gathering paper for a good cause. They were no longer mad. They even stayed to help plant the trees. Maybe when you guys come back to school, we can plant trees with Miss Jenny in our Kesher garden. "George, you saved our Green Day," Dr. Lee said with gratitude. "These trees will provide fresher air, and each summer we'll have more shade, which means we'll use less water to keep the grass green. Thank you." Being a monkey, George had known all along how important trees are. I miss you guys all very much, and I hope to see you soon. Say hello to my daughter, Madison. You guys always ask me who she is.
Hello, guys.
All right, take care. I love you all. See you soon.